Welcome back, guys. So last night you might have seen we ran an update on Portland police basically getting a big step closer to donning body cameras by the end of next year and possibly starting the pilot as soon as this summer. Simply put, the city is expected to open up the bidding process on a $2.6 million contract. They're aiming to do that on Wednesday. And after seeing that story, Dan wrote, as long as we're funding body cameras, why not expand Portland Street Response? We haven't heard much about that team recently. Dan, great point. Thank you. That question is actually really timely because Portland Street Response has an important benchmark coming up. Come March, they are actually scheduled to go citywide. 24/7. Until now, PSR has been operating as a pilot project in Southeast Portland and operating with limited hours. And basically, just for some background, instead of dispatching police, the city-funded program sends EMTs and crisis counselors to nonviolent calls involving mental health or addiction. PSR launched amid the 2020 racial justice protests as part of the city's answer to calls for police reform. Now, all that being said, we know other examples of reform haven't always stuck to their original timelines, and body cameras are a perfect example. So we asked Portland Street Response, are you on track to indeed go citywide in 2 months? Here's their program manager.
Portland Street Response will be on schedule to expand in March of 2022 citywide. We're currently working on posting the recruitments now for 4 new vans. And so some vans will have 2 people, some vans will have 3 people. We're adding peer support specialists to the evening shifts, and we're adding community health workers to the day shift.
Now, that doesn't mean, she added, that there aren't kinks to work out in the system. PSR basically says, for instance, they get fewer calls at night than they thought they would. The days are actually busier, but that could change when they're operating, say, in downtown or other neighborhoods. And also, you might have seen for a while, 911 operators weren't sending that many calls to Portland Street Response. In fact, when the program first launched last spring, PSR was going out on roughly 2 calls per day. Their numbers have grown steadily since, tripling on some days, as that video apparently speeds up. But PSR staff say they definitely want to be busier, and they're talking to the city's Bureau of Emergency Communications about how to do that.
We've had a lot of wonderful conversations. We have regular weekly check-ins with them. That's going extraordinarily well, I would say. We've seen definitely an increase in the types of calls that they're sending us, which is exciting. And I would say the criteria itself is still being reviewed, and we still need to sort of go through labor negotiations, talk about some of the call types that we think we could be taking on and sort of diverting away from police altogether. And that will be hopefully we'll begin those conversations here come February, March.
And again, they're going citywide in March, they say.